Hi, my name is Buti. I've been in the field of disabilities for over 25 years. I'm currently the Director of Program Development at Newman Family Services, where we serve adults with autism, other developmental disabilities, and or mental illness. Additionally, I'm the owner of an advocacy company called AIEPA, which stands for Advocate and Instructional Expert for People with Autism. Also, what I was wondering is, since you guys are quick to typing, if we can quickly type in just one word of who you are: parent, speech, OT, PT, SPED teacher, gen ed teacher, assistant, adult services, DSP, assistive tech, just so I kind of get an idea of who's there in the audience. That would be awesome. Great. Wow, lots of speech OT. Everyone's speech OT, special ed teacher, speech. So one of the things, awesome. You can keep typing while I talk. So one of the things that I'm going to recommend is that you guys share this information with parents because, as you know, all the holiday hoopla typically happens when they're off school at home. So that would be wonderful. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. So holidays, they're coming around the corner, and what could this mean? This could mean eating different foods, having company over, lots of activities and noise, changing of the schedule, no school, getting or giving presents. That all sounds great, huh? Well, maybe not for someone with autism. So holidays for someone with autism can mean not liking the food being served or not being able to eat the food being served. So what can we do? So, of course, there might be some holiday parties at school as well. So in school settings, all this can apply. So we can try some of these new foods ahead of time to be sensitized or even just to see if they might like it. Try it slowly. You can try to make the foods that the child or person likes in a format that might mirror the traditional holiday foods. We can use the first then language, maybe trying something new and then trying something and then having something that they really, really enjoy. Of course, this wouldn't be successful if it was due to sensory or dietary issues. But also making sure all the family members are aware of any dietary concerns so that there are things that are available that, of course, the person would enjoy or be able to use. Holidays for someone with autism can also mean having a lot of people over that they may not know, extended family, people they might see once a year, or maybe even someone they've never met before, like a new partner of someone in their family. And they probably or may not understand the specific diet of someone with autism, the structure and routine they might need, maybe the way they move, make noises, talk, don't talk, the way they like to be touched or don't touch. The way certain things might get them upset, or just being different. Well, what we can do is first providing the information to the guests. Like giving the people that are coming over a little bit of information about the child. So also helping the child or the adult with autism to be able to accept all those new people ahead of time. So providing social stories ahead of time. So helping the person with autism understand that they might have new people over and creating a book of pictures and names of who's coming over so you can go over it ahead of time. So you have photographs of everyone that might be coming over on their name and kind of put it in a little photo book and practice it and have it there accessible for them. They might even find it enjoyable to match the picture to the actual person and might help them also to be able to greet them. So role play greeting. That could be done in the school and at the home. Role play how to greet new people, how to greet relatives, and how to interact during these holiday gatherings. So do some role playing ahead of time. Possibly even going to some loud, more active places ahead of time to get the student, acclimated and used to being in more kind of chaotic environments, if you will. Again, the whole communicating to people coming over about some unique things they might see, and embrace what is unique. Don't try to hide it or not engage and involve the child. Just embrace what is unique and share it with others so they can also embrace that. But do create some form of structure and routine within the day, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Of course, you can do that by creating a schedule and or a social story for the structure and routine that you then create. So there might be a schedule with your cousins, eat some food, then go to your quiet space, which we'll talk about later, then eat dinner and various things like that. So having a schedule so that there is some feel of structure. So practicing and role-playing these unfamiliar situations, possible, the greetings we talked about, so maybe specific etiquette, and maybe at your house or at the house of the students you work with, they use a buffet style. So that might be something completely different than they're used to. So role-playing and showing and demonstrating how to use a buffet style. So the student doesn't just grab a chair and a seat and sit up there and start eating right at the buffet table, right? Working on manners and role-playing those. Appropriate portions, too. These are all things that can be done in the school and done at home, working on serving a specific portion. Receiving gifts, opening gifts, responding to what is in a gift. What if you don't like it? Creating a social story for any of those situations also. So plan ahead, practice, and plan for the worst-case scenario. Holidays for someone with autism can mean there might be more noise and activity than people with autism are used to or like. So what can we do? Well, having strategies available that work for that particular person with autism when things are too loud. So does that mean headsets, iPads, iPods, fiddle items? So what things help this person when it's not holidays, when they're in a situation where there's too much going on? Too much activity, too much noise. I had a student that we went to prepare for holidays. We went to a very busy mall, and the student, you could just see getting agitated and getting anxious. And literally, we put on a pair of sunglasses and their iPod, and they were, you could just see the body just calm down. So using those strategies that work for those types of situations. And you can also create a social story about noise level and help the child, for your speech therapist, on how to teach the child to ask when things are too loud or ask for the strategies. Somehow to be able to communicate what it is that they actually are needing at that moment. Holidays for someone with autism can mean, as we were saying, sensory overload, not just the sound, right? So what can we do? So if there's sensitivity to smell, we just want to be aware of that. So maybe all kinds of different scented candles don't make sense. However, if the child's sensitivity to smell is based on foods, then maybe the scented candles might be good. So really knowing your child or the children you're working with sensory system, if there's visual overload. Maybe the decorations need to be toned down a little. Also, there might be some decorations that look more like little toys or things to play with. So take that into account. Either don't put them up or have some extras in a little basket that are just for that person to be able to play with, manipulate. Teach the child with autism how to communicate their needs during the holidays, communicating when they need a break, communicating when it's too much, that they don't like something, that they want more of something. So communication during the times of holidays is very, very important. And the communicating to take a break is also extremely important. So because we want to encourage the student or the child, the adult, the person with autism to be able to communicate when they need to get away and need a break, make sure there's somewhere in the house or school where the holiday party is happening where you can create a quiet space where the child can retreat, relax, and do some things that either they really enjoy or that will help them calm down. I often would like a schedule for this because I was at a family, and house with who had a child with autism, and we didn't see the child the entire time he was in his basically his sensory getaway. And that too is bad. We want to help encourage them to interact with people and to not have to be, hiding away in their sensory room. So even if it means bringing some of those sensory items out or just scheduling in those breaks. So having things like their favorite toys, their sensory items, books, or other things that they can do for a moment while they step away, and then encouraging them to come back by use of the schedule. So holidays for someone with autism means change in your schedule, change in your routine. This can be so difficult. As we all know, changing a schedule or changing a routine can be very, very difficult for someone with autism. So as I stated before, we want to create some type of routine, even though it is not get up, go to school. You want to maintain that routine. So maybe it is still getting up every day at the exact same time, but then you have a different routine. But having that schedule and that visual and making sure it's done in a format that that person understands. If they're using a written visual, then just write it out. If they're using visual pictures, then the school can work with the home to help them in order to create this visual schedule. And let everyone know what the routine is so they can help support it. Go over this routine or schedule ahead of time. Talk about it ahead of time. I also encourage a calendar so that every day, maybe the week before, 2 weeks before, the child can see as you cross off each day how many more days left till, for instance, the company comes over. So then even, preparing for that transition, for that change in their typical routine. So even the night before, it's like tomorrow's the day, looking at the calendar. Let's go over your schedule for tomorrow, pulling it out, going over it again, doing that role playing the night before, even doing it in the morning. Also in that calendar, and in the schedule created for the day, use that universal no symbol. So these are great things for school staff to teach students to use. So that if there is a change, especially if this event, this holiday party is not in their own home or their own classroom, there might be something that you have to change right away. You might have created a schedule and it's just not going to work based on, for instance, something in the environment. So by placing the universal no symbol over it, but this has to be something that the child has already learned and understands what that means. And typically when I teach someone how to use the universal no symbol, typically when I first start using it, right after whatever is canceled or isn't going to happen, I play something that's extremely motivating, even if it's just for 5 minutes. So if it's something that you have to last minute cancel, but remember, you already went over the schedule with the person. They already know what the day is, so don't just take it off the schedule and think, they'll never know it. They always do. So it's better to teach flexibility, understanding of change. So if we're changing something, let's say we were under the anticipation that we were going to eat dessert right after eating dinner, but the house we're at or the classroom we're at decides to sing carols after dinner. So we might have to put the universal no on and put a little computer symbol if that's something that, or iPad symbol if that's something accessible and motivating for 5 minutes, and then bring them back. So that way they can get through a no, get through a change in their schedule, but yet still move forward. There's also this little strategy about teaching flexibility. I've used this a couple times with students where I showed the difference between a popsicle stick and a pipe cleaner. And the popsicle stick is rigid, and show them how when you're not flexible and you just bend it and it breaks, boom, it breaks. But yet the popsicle stick is flexible and move, just like you're wanting them to move. Now, I've had students that this doesn't make sense to them at all, but I've had students and adults with autism I work at where they really understand this and they love this, so it's just a little idea. We can also use reward systems that the child is familiar with. So if you already know what their powerful reinforcers are, and remember, powerful reinforcers, not just something like, I like it, but what is it really that is powerful? That's that big paycheck for this child or adult with autism. Because in this more heightened anxiety situation, they're probably going to need something a little more powerful than just, I kind of like that. I like a sticker. But no, the iPad or the foosball or the whatever it is, the piece of string twirling it on the ground. Make sure that you have those rewards accessible so that you can use them in a I am working for situation or first do this, then get this. And have these visuals in whatever way they're using them in the school. So if the school found it successful that they just have the written words like this slide, I am working for, or the first 10, or they're using, for instance, Mayor Johnson picture symbols or other picture symbol sets, and have a representation of what the reinforcer is to put it in there. And use it, you might, in these more, these times of more anxiety, they might have to use it more often. So you might even have to use a reinforcer after every kind of activity. So holidays for someone with autism means no school. Oh, no. If that's their routine and they love going to school and they love getting on that yellow bus, this is going to be difficult. So the schools can help prepare them by using that calendar of the month and showing every day school and bus, school and bus, school and bus. Then the weekends, home, home, school and bus, school and bus, school and bus, home, home, and crossing it off every day. And then no more school and bus. Now it's home, 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 home. Party! And really going over this calendar every day for the month, doing it at school, doing it at home, and, really just checking off every day so they can see what is coming so that they can prepare themselves for no school anymore. Social stories can also be created for this and read at school and read at home. And by having that semi-structure still going on at home will really help the child with this too. So if you're working in the school, really help parents with this. Help them to either create these calendars, these schedules, and share with the families and do this in the school setting as well. So holidays for someone with autism can mean dressing up in clothes that are new or uncomfortable or they don't like or they're different, right? How many of us know the student with autism that wears the pull-on sweatpants every day and a pullover shirt with no tags? And now all of a sudden we have company over and mom and dad want them to get dressed up. So if that's the case, there are so many things that we need to do ahead of time so that this isn't a real big struggle and something miserable. So maybe have that outfit ahead of time. You could practice trying it on, even if it's just for a minute. Maybe part of it, maybe the shirt today, maybe the pants tomorrow. Make sure they fit and that they're not too snug, because a lot of times that's the issue. They don't like the way it feels on their body. Also, if there's those sensory issues with like tags or labels, pre-wash it. Make sure it's soft enough. Make sure it fits and it's not too tight. And maybe wearing it to school a couple of days before. So not having it be wake up in the morning and today you're wearing this, and a child that has this incredible anxiety attack and gets quite upset, and then that kind of ruins the remainder of the day. So let's really be proactive with this and see how you can help the families in order to get these, find out what are they going to wear. And, it might even be a social story again. On Christmas, you will wear, a shirt and tie. Wearing a shirt and tie will make your parents happy. Wearing a shirt and tie, you will look really good, or, whatever it is to put into a social story to help with, even just the change. It might be a change of attire as well. So gift giving, oh my goodness, this could be difficult. So holidays, could mean getting or giving gifts. So this could be challenging. I often think of when I was teaching my students about collections, and I didn't realize it until after I helped the students, make a collection, and then someone would be like, oh, here's a sticker for your sticker collection, or trading and this and that. I didn't realize, but I had to teach all those skills that trading is not stealing, giving means you're giving it to them and you can't take it back, but then they're sharing, so you can share the toy, but that doesn't mean you take it. So there's so many social skills around this whole gift giving. So if gifts are going to be exchanged, we have to think about that, unwrapping gifts, receiving gifts, wanting someone else's gifts. So let's talk about some of those things. So we can involve the child or the person with autism in the giving. So that might help, having them actually help buy the gift, help wrap the gift, or even just deciding where the gift is placed, for instance, if it's under a tree or whatever, process the family does. By participating, the child might be more interested in the process or even excited to see someone else open the gift. Social stories around this whole thing is a really good idea as well, especially if it's a gift for someone their similar age and it's something they actually want as well. And you can role play about that as well. So at schools or in the home, you guys can role play giving gifts of silly stuff, like at school, like a pencil, and you're unwrapping it. Oh, what'd you get? It's a pencil. Practice how to receive gifts. So role-playing receiving, role-playing how to thank someone for a gift, role-playing how to react when you just don't like the gift you got. I probably should do some work on that. I probably need a social story on that. So social stories for all this stuff is great, really, and the role-playing. I love role-playing. And you can't just do it once. You have to do it often. Writing thank you notes together, that's a lovely skill to teach. And just, like I said, using those social stories. I am going to just real quick. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay, sorry, I was going to. No, actually I am. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to flip back real quick to this one. Back to this one. So wanting someone else's gift, this can be a challenge. So beyond just role playing, I would also encourage that we, teach the child. We have visuals, we role play, we have a social story. But when you role play it, we want it to be, we want to see a gift that they actually might want. And then role play things that they wouldn't like. But this gift giving can be very challenging. Even the fact of the wrapping paper, the noise of the wrapping paper, or it looks like garbage, right? You've got wrapping paper all over. So make sure you have garbage bags accessible. I once worked with a child who hated unwrapping gifts because people ripped the paper. God forbid you rip the paper. He unwrapped the gift so perfectly you could actually reuse the paper. So know those things about the child, and if that's the case, then help them to process that may not always occur. Or maybe if it's a child that's really opposed to ripping paper, then maybe you can make it a game for everyone else. So let's say his name is John. So John doesn't like to rip paper. And we don't think you guys can open your gift without ripping the paper. Let's see who can do it. So making kind of a little game out of it just to get other people involved in doing that. Let's see. Let me go back to this one. So make sure the person with autism has access to those things that are comfortable and familiar with them, especially if they're not having this holiday event in their own setting, right? So if they're in someone else's house, if you can make visits ahead of time, that's wonderful. Getting them acclimated to the environment. If you can give the person with autism a role. I often think of when I was working with students in school, whenever we did a teamwork project, I had those students with autism that thought they couldn't work in a team because, why do I need them when I'm the smartest one here? Or they thought it was cheating, or they just didn't know what their role was. So I kind of think of that when I'm thinking of the holidays. Like, give the child with autism a role. Maybe they're setting the table. Maybe they're clearing the table. Maybe they're passing out the rolls. Maybe they are passing out napkins. Something that the child could be successful with, practice it ahead of time, and then allow that to be their role. Or there could be multiple roles. And put that in their schedule. Let's see. If it's not at your house also, yes, about any kind of special needs, just be forthcoming with wherever the party is or the event is or the gathering is, that people know, hey, John's unique. Here's some of the unique things about him. Let's see. Oh, and if there's any specific feeding needs. So some students have either some children or adults with autism have very specific feeding needs. Either just that's my chair, I always sit in the end on that chair, all the way to I always have a pillow on my chair. I always sit in a red chair. I always sit with a sit and move. So if there's anything like that, and if it's not at your house and you can bring with you, that makes a lot of sense. So you can really prepare ahead of time for anything that the child might need. So another thing that holidays bring around is the social interaction. So where someone else without autism might go around and be socially engaging the whole time. So it's very important to help the child with autism to be able to navigate that social environment. So you might even put that, if social skills is something they really struggle with, then maybe we put it in the schedule. So meaning, maybe they're eating, and then we're going to say hi to your grandma and grandpa. and then we're going to go sing carols, and then you're going to say hi to your aunt. And role play all that stuff. I think how schools can really help with our students to be successful during the holidays is doing a lot of role playing and a lot of visuals, creating the social stories, helping the families understand the importance of the visuals, of the social stories, of the role playing, and of the pre-planning. Because holidays are stressful for everyone, so we might as well do what we can to make it less stressful for the whole family. I just think that those are probably the most important things is in the school setting, because I see most of you are, speech and OT in school. We have one adult services. Awesome. But most are in school. So the more we could do in the school setting to prepare our students for this change in their schedule, in their routine, in their foods they're going to eat, in the clothes they're going to wear, and the people they're going to see, the more we can help them prepare ahead of time with that extensive use of visuals and role playing, the better off they will be during that holiday time. And you know what that means? They'll also connect to school better. Meaning, if they had a horrible, rotten 2 weeks off, coming back to school will probably show that. So let's help them through this transition. Let's help them be successful and enjoy the holidays, and help the parents. That's a huge one, is helping the parents to navigate this too, because holidays are already stressful, and having someone with a disability can just add on that. Now, I know that some parents are not open to disclosure. They don't want people to know their child has a disability. Obviously, that is a personal preference, and if that's what they believe, we have to, go by that. I often think that the more people know, the more that, the better off it is, because then that child can be accepted better and can be supported better by all people. I think the more informed people are, the better equipped they are to be able to engage and interact and participate with the person with a disability during the holidays. So I do know, though, that some families are opposed to that. So, having a discussion about that ahead of time. Do your family members know you have autism? How are they with that? What do they need to know? Even some sibling relative meetings at school would be awesome to do, because a lot of siblings and a lot of extended family members, they don't know a lot about it. They just know, like, oh, he's the quiet one, or, yeah, he's a little odd, but, he's on his iPad the whole time. But how empowering would that be if we just inform them? And, of course, it's all through, parent disclosure. But it would be great that if more of the family and the extended family had more knowledge of how to engage and interact with this really awesome, unique person, I think it would be more successful. So I wanted to ask people if they have, questions about or comments about particular situations that they're struggling with for the holidays that I haven't mentioned, that we can maybe touch on. Oh, you know what? I did remember one other thing that someone told me to bring up, that the bedtime routine should stay the same during the holiday break as much as possible. I've had some families tell me that they kind of didn't do that, and they regretted it, because then the whole sleep schedule was off, and then after the 2 weeks, it was too difficult to get them back into the school, wake up and sleep and homework routine. So that's why I did say a little earlier about the importance of keeping some kind of a structure and routine, even if it's as much as, wake up, do your whole morning routine, but instead of obviously going to school, maybe it's, you have 1 hour of iPad time. then we're going to have a snack, then you're going to have 1 hour playing with your siblings, and then you're going to eat lunch, and, whatever it is, but keeping that, somehow still keeping that routine going so that their sleep is not incredibly different, their sleep schedule. But what are people hearing that are challenging or that they're actually experiencing that's challenging with the holidays? And if you can type it in the chat box, that would be great. I can see the chat box. So, yeah, just what are you hearing out there that we need to come up with some ideas to support? And what are you seeing even that works? So one of two things, either write in a question and we'll brainstorm it together, or write in something that you are doing or using that has been successful with helping students with autism manage through the holidays. It's not the holidays yet, you guys. I know we wish. Does anyone have any input, any comments? Everyone's got all their students and clients just have great holidays. Well, since I don't know that the speech and OTs, if you are working in schools or adult settings, I'll also bring up something from the adult settings that I work in now. A lot of our clients do not have any family. 83% of our clients report no family involvement, and we have over 300 clients. That's a lot of people during the holidays who don't have families and what. So it's really difficult during the holidays. So we have to create some form of excitement around it and in our own little kind of parties and support and being very supportive, because some of our clients with autism get very sad because of the change of, what it was growing up to what it is now. Oh, someone does it, dealing with cousins, playing, getting along, sharing, etc. Yeah, so Tammy, that's a great thing. So in some cases, the student's just off, or the person is just off in another room, and of course, you see them engaging. So, of course, in the school setting, it's so important that we're working on sharing and playing and those interaction skills, and that the schools are sharing these strategies and techniques that are working in the school with the home. Wouldn't that be great if you had like a cousins day at school and the cousins, or after school, it actually probably be in the evening, unless they go to the same school, but allowing the cousins to interact with their cousins in a structured environment where we can help the cousins to kind of understand what autism is, understand how to play, how to share. The social stories about sharing and playing are typically really successful with those situations. So I often also share them with the non-disabled cousins too, so they can see what it is that we're trying to promote, and then they can help promote it as well. But yes, you're right, getting along with their siblings and explore their cousins, especially if it's them, the cousins coming into the person with autism's domain, their house, and then wanting to go into their bedroom. So I had a family where we had a sign that said, "Do not enter," but we had a schedule of when that sign could be on. So we taught the young boys to, okay, now your room is open. They can come in and play for, 30 minutes. And then we would put the sign back on the door and say, okay, everybody out, do not enter. And then the child with autism had his own domain left alone. We also had a very strict cleanup rule, because that was something that really bothered him when people left his stuff amok. So that whole visual too of put the toys away works for students with autism and without autism. So let me see, Jennifer, going on a break in a few days, offering this course earlier, the benefit. Most problems occur coming back from Thanksgiving. Oh, that's good to know. Great. We'll definitely think about that next year. Let's see, William. How should we handle it when students seem to have unrealistic Christmas goals that they constantly talk about and getting on the good list? We know that they like to display. So, the unrealistic Christmas gifts, well, I'm dealing with that right now with our clients. Oh, my gosh, the stuff they want to get, guitars and amps and TVs and flat-screen TVs. So sometimes we give a dollar amount and we say, and we get in like a catalog, and we just cut out all the things that are under a certain amount of dollars. So let's say it was $25. And what things are under $25? We're teaching them a life skill too, right, to look at dollar amounts and to know what's more or less, and really showing them like these things. I have the best, sometimes it's just telling them how much stuff is. So we had this thing at my agency called Free Lunch Friday. I don't know who called it that, but it was, here's what it meant. On Friday, the clients didn't have to bring lunch to day program, and the day program bought lunch. So I guess that's why they called it Free Lunch Friday. Well, obviously, the way the budget is in the state of Illinois, if anyone's sure, we cannot afford that anymore. So I discontinued Free Lunch Friday. You bring your own lunch. So the clients had big uproar on it, so upset at me. And why is there not Free Lunch Friday? And I said, do you know how much it costs every Friday to have lunch, for me to pay for lunch? And they said, how much? I said, $310. They go, what? That's not free? And I go, exactly. And they've never asked for it again. So sometimes it's literally just telling them and showing visually, like to show, for instance, like I said, $25 or $10, and going in the catalog and cutting everything out that is that price range or under, and making a little book out of it. Give me 1 second to read this. Is wanting to purchase all Hallmark ornaments in the book so they can put on the tree. I think anything like that, like visual boundaries, or I shouldn't say that, boundaries provided visually. So, yep, you love all the Hallmark ornaments in the book. I do too. But you need to pick out your 3 favorites and draw 3 boxes, have them find their 3 favorites, cut them out, paste them on there, and those are the ones they bring home to ask for, or if they have money during school. I don't know how that works, but just given those visual boundaries. Even like let's see, they have reading someone else's alternative behavior to get on the good list. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be too big on the whole, if you're good, you'll get a gift. If you're not, you don't, kind of thing, because, hey, we don't know what all families do. And then they might obsess about it, like, I wasn't good, I'm not getting Christmas, or Santa's not coming, or whatever it is that they believe. I would try to maybe steer them away from that and just talk about classroom behavior and whatever your behavior management strategy is that you're using within the school. If that, for instance, that suggestion or that question, Monica, about like the Hallmark ornaments, wanting all of them in the book, and then wanting the unrealistic gifts, I think really creating this structure and showing those boundaries, even going to stores and saying like, all right, today we're just going to price things and write them down, or price things and take a picture. So let's say the one boy wants something that's, $150 flat screen TV. Then we have to show on money, like ask parents like how much money would be realistic, and maybe they say $10. Then show them how much more that is than $10, and really bring them to a place where these things are $10. This is $10. This is $10. And then writing it down, having a visual, and then being able to have a picture or find a picture from a catalog of those things and putting them on that paper. It's just really being visual about it. Obviously, I'm a big fan of visual strategies. And what's great about them during the holidays is they help with more than just the child with autism. So definitely try that. Are there any other people that had some, good, You know what? I just realized that there was another section with questions. How should we handle it when? Oh, okay. No, I'm sorry. They came over there. Sorry, guys. I thought they were different questions. Here, wait, let me show you another slide here real quick. So I wanted to also provide you with my email. I love to collaborate. You feel free to email me any questions and comments. I'm big into emailing back. I do have a Twitter account. I don't tweet up there a lot. I don't even know if that's the right way to say it. But also check out my Facebook page. This is my new business, because I'm going to try to be posting more and more ideas and visuals that I've made up there. It's a good place to comment, question. So feel free to go on there as well. But we do have a couple of minutes, and I just wanted to be able to have you guys come up with some scenarios like the couple that were given, so that we can help brainstorm them together, so that you have the tools to help the families and the people with autism that you serve. So are there any other strategies that you guys are using that really works well, or that doesn't work well, and you need some help brainstorming? Because we can do that. We've got a group of 32 smart people here. So I really want to be able to help you guys brainstorming any of the things that you might see as challenges and issues with the holidays. For our students with autism, our adults with autism, and helping them be successful, because it is coming up soon. I think most schools are out next week, and some of them are off for as much as 2 to 3 weeks. So as much information as you can provide those families so that they are successful in those 2 to 3 weeks. Everything you're doing in the school setting that's working, make sure you're sharing it with the families. Any visuals you can provide the families would be awesome, and showing them how to use them. I can't tell you how many IEPs I've sat at, and we just use the lingo, right? Oh, a visual schedule, a visual task sheet, a first in card, and we never actually sit down and say, here's how it works. So, Gina, we use the countdown visual method for preparing days to Christmas and the change in the schedule of events. Awesome. Countdown. That's a great strategy, too. A lot of students, a lot of people with autism like numbers. So counting how many days it is till Christmas or till the change in the schedule. I love that. So not only crossing off each day, but having a number as well. Yes, students, people with autism tend to like numbers because they're very structured and they come in a very specific order. That's a great idea. Yeah, the popsicle stick and the popsicle and the pipe cleaner strategy. That it's an interesting one. I've had some students or clients that just love it and get it, and they actually hold a popsicle stick and a pipe cleaner. This one guy has in his pocket, this other one in his backpack, and basically was using it to tell us when he couldn't be flexible by breaking the popsicle stick. And that was like, we realized, oh, he's actually telling us he needs a break, like by saying, I can't be flexible right now. And so we had to change the way he communicated that without breaking the popsicle stick. Let's see. Anyone ever try an advent calendar? So I have not, but has anyone in the audience tried an advent calendar? And did you find it successful, or was it challenging, or has nobody tried it? So it looks like maybe no one's tried that. Joan, are you going to be trying that, or are you using it currently? We'll see. Yeah, I've never used that. I mean, I would think because it's very visual that it might be successful, but I've never used one. But I think that adding the numbers on the calendar is a great, great idea. Now, we also know that this, I used it, with my own kids. Use it with your own kids. Okay. So Lynn has used it with her own kids. We also want, I thought that was a different slide. Since this, you guys received this as a handout, I would share it with your parents. If you are working with students that have parents and live at home and are going home, share it with the families. And feel free to share my contact, too, if they have anything that they know. Because obviously I kind of use some traditional holiday events that might occur, but everyone celebrates holidays differently. So there might be things that we didn't think of. I have one I didn't think of, which I just remembered. I had a holiday party, and we had punch that had alcohol in it, and a young adult with autism was like kicked some, and then another young adult with autism said, "Is there alcohol in that?" And that is an excellent question. Yes, there is, because you need to put a label on that. And that was a great bit of advice. So labeling that was something I should have known. But so everyone celebrates the holidays differently. So this presentation covered kind of some of the maybe more traditional ways to celebrate, but if any families or therapists know of anything that's a little bit different, yes, someone asked me to share the PowerPoint presentation handout with the parents. Yes, please do. It's emailed to you as a handout, so I would not mind at all. And again, you can also share my contact information. I would be more than happy to try to brainstorm with them because of what I was saying, that I don't know how everyone celebrates holidays. Everyone has a different way to celebrate. There's even another thing I'm thinking of is pets. If they're going to someone else's house and there's a pet and they don't have a pet at their house, that might be a whole other ball wax, right? Social story for that. Maybe visiting the pet ahead of time. Maybe visuals about how many times you can pet them. Maybe a little schedule of how often they can be by the pet, or being away from the pet if they're afraid of it or don't like it. I was just reading that. Yeah, so I would also encourage families, if they're going to someone else's house, to ask about pets, because that is a big stickler with some of our students with autism, either in a positive or negative way. But unless we can prepare them appropriately for it, then yeah. Do I have some ready-made social stories? Here's the issue with the ready-made ones is every scenario is slightly different, and the social story should totally match the exact specific situation. So I don't. However, please feel free. If you need help creating one, email me. I would be more than happy to help create one and email it to you. Anyone else have any questions, comments? It's being recorded too, so you can re-listen to it. The handouts, please get to the parents. Email me if you have any specific scenarios that you would need help brainstorming. And otherwise, I hope you guys have a great holiday and it's not too stressful for all of you. I know you're going to miss being in the schools or the settings you're in if you have time off. Let's see. Advocate. Sorry, I'm reading that. Advocate, the same Facebook as the link to provide it. I'm sorry, I can't. What is, Jennifer, what is your question? Sorry, Jennifer, the question rolled up. Let's see. I'm a Buti advocate, the same Facebook as the link you provided. Yes, that link above the AIEPA Advocate and Instructional Expert for people with autism, that's the link to get there. Or if you just go on Facebook, you can just search either my name, Mo Buti, and it'll be there. Or is the Mo Buti on Facebook the same Facebook link? It's on. Oh, you know what? Just go to Mo Buti, and then you could see my link there. Or yes, just go with that link. Or on Facebook, search AIEPA Advocate and Instructional Expert for people with autism. Oh, and you already got that. Thanks, Jennifer. Well, everyone have an awesome holiday. Keep in touch, collaborate, and thank you, thank you, thank you. And if any questions weren't answered because they moved up too quickly, we'll make sure to answer them, and we will get those to you. All right? So if there's no other questions, I'm going to let everyone go. I'm going to wait a minute, make sure there's no other questions. All right. Well, then, everyone, you have a great holiday.